I'm not trying to give you guys vertigo here, but it's just fascinating. Yep.
Today in space. Today in space.
Hello and welcome to a special NASA social edition of Today in Space. I'm your host, Alex Girofanos, and just to talk about the NASA social real quick, I've had a few days to kind of process it and put everything in my mind and go back through it, and actually was just going through the footage the other night, and I got tingles from a few of the videos, just like I was concerned that some of the video wasn't going to be able to capture what it was like, and there's definitely some of that. I mean, the rocket launch is definitely a perfect example, right? The brightness of that thruster coming out of the bottom, it's so overwhelming, and then the sound of a rocket launch, those things are not captured. But things like we're going to talk about in this week's episode, some of the greatness of the engineering marvel that is what NASA has done and still has the potential to do, and just the sheer size of things in space. I was so happy to see that the GoPro that we're filming this episode with right now captured some of that. And this first episode I'm really excited about, and I don't even have to do much talking because what was recorded speaks for itself. But let's talk about a few of the things that I 3D printed that made this possible. So for the NASA social in general, we had this SpaceX Dragon capsule 3D printed beforehand. We did it in PLA plastic from the same company that actually makes my 3D printer, Prusa Research. So this is the Prusa Mint, their filament. Really nice stuff. It printed really well, especially on their machine, and which needs upgrading. I will say that we have to get that up to the Mark 2.5S soon, so we can do multicolor. Plus, it has been used thoroughly. So anyways, we 3D printed this. This was great. This was fun to pass around to people who were close by. Just a good visual way to help explain science, and it's 3D printed, so people love that. So that was really cool. This came in handy. This is actually the Dragon 2 capsule, but we're going to be using this in the show in the future here. But the thing that made today's episode possible was this GoPro handle here, and we're going to have the actual name of the artist on Thingiverse, because these are all free models that are available online on a website called Thingiverse, where you actually download these files and you can 3D print them at home yourself. It's this whole movement with 3D printing that, there's people are willing to give their models for free so that other people can 3D print them. So this is one of them. And so this is a GoPro handle here, and it literally has a thread here. So we literally just took it off the bed and went in there and screwed it in. After it was printed, I had to shave and sand down some of these because it was just too tight at the end, but it worked. And so this is the same material that the Dragon was made of, and then this right here, okay, this is the handle, and we actually printed it in flexible filaments. You can see that it actually bends, and it was a great grip when we were holding this in our tour of the vehicle assembly base. So the vehicle assembly base, for those that don't know, is the building at NASA where they have assembled some of the greatest rocketry to ever be created. The Saturn V was assembled inside there. So the entire Apollo program was assembled in that base and processed. And they also built the Space Shuttle. They assembled the Space Shuttle in there, and one of the really fascinating things was that apparently, and you'll hear this in this tour, but the Space Shuttle was actually designed, the wingspan of the shuttle, they would have liked to have gone bigger because it would have given them more gliding an ability. That's because obviously when you're coming back in with the Space Shuttle, there's no propulsion, you're just gliding yourself back in. So a wider wingspan would have made that easier, but they wouldn't have been able to fit it in the vehicle assembly base. So they designed the wingspan based on how much they could fit into this giant, massive building that you're going to see here in just a second. But this was this was, I think, the moment during the tour that I just had to take a second to realize how special this was, how amazing this opportunity was to be inside this building, this historic building, at this time where it's at right now. And we couldn't have got a better tour than what we got here. And so it's so amazing that we were able to, you know, use 3D printing and have the NASA social opportunity, obviously, to have this opportunity. And a big thanks goes to our tour guide, Greg Hale, who was our amazing tour guide. He worked at the VAB for years during the Space Shuttle era. I guess he knew a lot about the transition from when it went from Apollo to Space Shuttle, and it's a tour that you won't get unless you get someone who had worked there for years. Amazing person. All the people we met there were amazing. It was a great time, but I'm talking too much. We need to get into this video. So you're going to see this tour. It literally is going to be us walking in, and then we basically go through the entire tour. And so I hope you enjoy this amazing opportunity and get to see the sheer size and immensity that a space program gives, that and seeing it in the condition that it's at gives me evidence to come back to you, the listeners and the viewers, to say that, you know, there's a lot of things that can be written online about what's going on in the Space Coast and Artemis and whether it's going to happen. Given my experience, NASA is going for this. Like, this isn't just something that's being talked about and there's no action being had. They're going after it, and it's very exciting to see, especially seeing 3 rockets vertical on the Space Coast. I don't even know when that has happened, you know, probably not even in my lifetime. So that's incredible, and we are seeing the glimmers of this push towards space. We've been watching it here, paying attention to it here for at least 5 years with Today in Space, and I can tell you there is momentum, and it's there. So let's get into this episode. I've talked too much. Welcome to the tour of the Vehicle Assembly Base at NASA.
Oh, this is the VAB, people. Vehicle Assembly Base. And we're just told some of these cranes were actually used to assemble Apollo. So that's the Saturn V. I mean, that's what this thing was built.
Go! Real close! Come here. Good children. Hold hands.
This is our scale.
I wish I'd take you upstairs, but I can't. Come on, guys. You hear me back there?
Wow.
And turkeys in there. All right, I'm gonna start it. Okay. Welcome to VAB. I worked in this building for about 8 years during my career out here, stacking boosters in there. The boosters would come in through that door and the far door down there, along with the shuttle. The tank would come in through this door right here. It depends on where they're manufactured at. They bring it in there. We'd pull the tanks in through this door here, pick it up and put them over in the old high bays on the left-hand side. There's 2 fuel cells on either side over there where we took the tanks, dropped them down in there, processed them, everything. Back on this side over here was where we stacked. Okay. Bring the boosters in. You had to have a mobile launch platform inside the high bay. This is transfer aisle. Okay, this is no stacking was done in here. We processed the stuff here, picked it up, and went over the 16th floor right here. See the rail up there? That's 16 floors up.
Wow.
Okay, drop it back down there. We had to go 16 floors up because we needed that other crane in here. And we couldn't take that crane down. So that crane, you needed 2 cranes to grab anything, pick it up, because it all come in here horizontal. And you pick it up, spin it. The bottom, the low grade crane would pick it up, pull it up over, and drop it down inside. Okay, when we get down here, you'll look at the opening up in there, the opening going into the high bay right there. That high bay right there dictated how big our wingspan was on the orbiter. Because we wanted a little bit more wing so we could glide a little bit more. Well, we couldn't because we couldn't get it through the opening. Because when we picked it up, we had to turn a 45-degree angle and slip it in there and then turn it and then drop it back down. So this building right here, it made the shuttle what the size of it is today.
Wow.
Or was. But this is the low bay right here. This building was built back in the early '60s for the Saturn program. The First stage was processed in the bottom of the floor back down here. Second stage was in these cells right here. Third stage was back over here. So as they stacked up, they would pick it up and move it over into the high bays and everything. But we always used high bay 1 and 3 down there. So you got 4 high bays. This building is 527 feet tall. And no, it doesn't rain in here, but it does, okay? Because if you get up around the 37th floor, something like that, the moisture will come in there and it'll drop down and it'll actually condense and turn into rain droplets, but then it breaks them up again and goes back into moisture again about 10 stories down.
That's crazy.
Technically, no, it doesn't rain in here, but I've had raindrops on my face, so you can't say it does rain in here.
Okay.
The building was originally built to go another 120 feet up. Von Braun and him was going to build another bigger rocket, and there was going to be 2 more high bays out further out right there. So we flipped real quick from the Apollo program to the shuttle program, so we only had about 2.5 to 3 year span in there. So a lot of the stuff that we cut into, we used the wiring and stuff like that. We were still using the old Apollo stuff and everything. Now that we've shut down, they've ripped all that stuff out. There was cable trays in there. You see the cable trays look like little ladders right there? Those things are full of cables. Those are cable trays and everything. Anyway, they were full of cables and everything, and I think it was 700 loads of copper wire come out of here in the last 5 years.
Wow.
Just to clean this place up and everything. Now it's all gone to fiber optics and everything, so one wire the size of your finger did 10 of those cables or more. So, and all the computers now are all gone. We're all using these small laptops and everything. But rockets are launched off of laptops now, basically.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. The whole back side of the firing room at one time was nothing but a univac. Reel-to-reel. Remember the old ones that had the reel-to-reel computers in there?
Yeah.
That was that whole thing back in there. That's what we launched off of. You sit there and watch them just fly back and forth there. That room's empty now.
Wow.
They haul them all off the salvage yard and everything. So anyway, if you guys want to walk this way, we'll walk on down.
Yes, please. Right. Yeah. I guess
Really big Home Depot.
Yeah. So it's 500.
See that one out now?
no. Oh my God! Look how tall! This is so crazy.
Wow, it's bigger than we
Oh, there's so much more. Oh my God.
Vertical is looking up.
Yeah, right.
Okay, this is what it looked like when we were in the shuttle days.
Oh wow.
Yeah, come over there and take pictures. You guys want to?
Okay. Please.
Let's go, guys. Down there. Let's tighten it up.
Let him get the rope. Wow.
They always fly around there. Buzzards. They're looking for food. You know, they like to ride the thing.
Look at that.
We had a
Guys, look at this. This is, I don't even know if this is doing any justice, but this is just, this is so wild how big this is. Looks like an Orion, no, maybe a CST Starliner concept, maybe it's Orion.
Here is most of the employees who are out here doing the shuttle program.
Wow.
They got to come in here, sign the wall, and then they seal the wall up, and you can't sign off anything on that there. Now, you look back at Tower A right there, up on the 16th floor is everything that we found so far of the shuttle Columbia. Okay.
Oh, wow.
We had a big hangar out at the runway. We spread it out, did an accident investigation thing and everything. So now occasionally we might have some VIPs that we come in, we can take up in there. You can't take pictures or anything like that, but it's pretty good. You know, you can see what caused the accident and everything. It got the wing mocked up of the pieces and parts that they found, everything that they've come. Usually about once every couple of months we'll get a crate in from out in that area from pieces and parts that people think, you know, we get hubcaps, burned up beer cans or something like that. Somebody thinks it's a shuttle. They still bring bring it in here to categorize it, look at it, make sure of what it is, test it and everything. If you are a university or something like that, or some type of scientific people that want to do testing on thermal engineering and like that, NASA will loan you a piece.
Wow.
But you don't destroy it, you study it, you know, because some of the metals that we had in there failed, some of it didn't fail. The stuff you would have thought would have failed didn't fail and burn up in there. So that's what they got in. And then there's a room up there that has what was left of the proof department that's in there. You can't, nobody sees that in there. So that's hard to get anybody up there. Every once in a while they get approved. I'll get a few people involved. I can't think of a large crowd. Usually more than 5 or 6 people up in there. But anyway, everybody remember Transformers 3? Filmed right here. Part of it on top of the building, part of it right here and everything.
Wow.
Now, when you get in here and you look up, okay, now you're in the high bay. You see the 2 big cranes up there? The one on the left is the newer one, and then the other one's on the right-hand side is the original crane there. The reason we put the newer one up in there is because it picks up, it's 325 tons it'll pick up. Yeah, just a little bit of weight.
Wow.
Just a little bit. It might be able to pick me up. My doctor says I'm on a diet, but I haven't done it yet. Seafood diet. If I see it, I eat it.
Oh, there you go.
That right there is a mock-up of the Orion.
Orion, yeah.
Anytime we start building a new vehicle and everything, we'll mock it up and put it down in the high bay and everything. So
Make sure it fits and everything like that.
You get all the engineers, and they say the platforms are this, and this, and not really will work.
Yeah.
So once you get it mocked up in there, then you can start moving the stuff there.
Wow.
Sometimes it's an inch off, and it needs to be dead on.
Now, how much of a mock-up is it? Just the external and like weight, or
No, everything.
everything? Wow.
The boosters
That's
we done,
wild.
We just had the center core, the Artemis, had it down here. It weighed exactly what it did.
Wow.
They had it down here for about a month, picking it up, moving it around. See, they never moved it before. So they got, crane crews got to relearn how to pick up what pieces and parts we had before.
How far up did the Saturn V go?
We did about 20 feet of ceiling.
Wow. Oh, God. It's so high.
Thank you so much. Hi.
It's not going to be here. There's our Orion mock-up. That's actually flown around the moon. Well, not this one, but they've done a test launch already.
Yeah, this right there is one of the old mobile launch platforms right here.
Oh, wow.
If you look at this red dot right here, okay, when we brought the shuttle in here, we had to pick it up. We turned it into 45-degree angle. That was the tail right there.
What?
Okay. What we did was we let it hang for about 4 hours, okay, to get all the wobble out. So this place was sealed up tight. You double doored in. When you come in the building, you double doored in. Okay, you didn't want anything moving. Summertime, it's hotter than heck. Wintertime, it's colder than heck. You had these flame retardant coveralls on.
Wow.
So anyway, that was the center of the tail. Right back out there, it'd hang here for about 4 hours during that time frame. They'd take pictures of all of the tiles and everything, before and after picture and everything. From the time it left the floor to the time it was hard down on the tank, it was about 24 hours. And they changed the crew out, you know. When it would go up, go over, you turn the head towards, I told you it had to go 45 degrees into the opening up there on the 16th floor. See where the yellow rail is? That's 16. They'd go in there and they turn it. Every level up there was some guy had a big long pole with a big old rubber paddle on the end of it, just in case it got, I mean, it was within 18 to 20 inches of touching.
Oh, my God.
You don't want to touch. Not a good day. You touched everything. So once they got it in there, then we'd get in there and bolt it up to the tank and everything. The crane would come off of it, we'd get the strung back and pull out and everything. We left the shuttle in here for about a week because most of our work was done at the pad. 4 to 5 weeks was done at the pad, all the cryos and everything. We didn't have any upper galls or anything in this building. The only thing that was hazardous in here was the solid rocket boosters. So during the Apollo program, there's probably anywhere between 2,000 people at any given time in this building. during the shuttle program, maybe 250. You didn't have essentially had a job in this building, you weren't in here. And all these towers out here had different offices and everything. We didn't use them that much. During the Apollo program, all these towers were full. They were office buildings. There was no OSB 1 or 2. Everybody was in here working 7 days a week.
Living here, yeah.
They lived here. They had camping trailers out in the parking lot. There was a lot of divorces because people weren't coming home. They
Yeah.
just worked.
Yeah.
Shuttle wasn't that bad. We did work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week out here for 30 years. But not a large amount of people. We were locked down to a 12-hour shift. We had to go. We worked 6 days straight. We had to have 48 hours off, and then we had to work 12-hour shifts. Occasionally, it had to, right about the launch time, I'd work some longer hours because it was just you had to. Waivers written. The boss would have to write waivers like crazy. You had to do it.
Wow.
You just couldn't get the waiver.
Wait, what do they make here now?
Well, they assemble some things, like, not much. Yeah, ultimately it will be SLS.
What's that?
Yeah. It's the Space Launch System, so that's NASA's next option for, like, moon and further. They use the engines from the Space Shuttle.
They only had one opening in the bottom of the Apollo, Saturn 5.
And the Orion, that's what's going to send humans. That's going to be on top.
And then the dirty pad.
It was a NASA social.
So they cut the 3 holes in there, and the 2 smaller holes is the booster. This is where the main engine is shown. Now it's going back there. I don't know what they're going to do now. This is the crawler. No, this is not the crawler. The crawler would come in here and then lift up underneath. So if you give a chance, we might be the crawlers will probably over in the park side. We got 2 crawlers. We got about we might have 5,000 miles. Not over like 6. This is the main Apollo. Yes, everything comes from here. All the Apollos, everything comes from this building right here. At one time or another. Apollo 1 didn't consider that was just going to tape side up with it. I'm not sure where they processed that.
You were building a shuttle.
I was in here the shuttle. I got here in '89. I transferred up from Miami from another government job up there. They went head hunting. I ran up the Challenger accident. They went head hunting. I had started my engineering degree. Hey guys, move to the side, please. NASA laid some money on the table and says, we'll give you this amount of money and finish your degree up. I went, no. So after the 3rd time, the money got taller, and of course the degree stayed on the table. And I went, okay, I'll move. They said, we'll move you too. I said, okay.
What degree?
Chemical engineering. So I went to school here. They had it all set up here. We went to school at night. I got 2 hours a day during government time to study. And I was an old guy, and I had to have a tutor. And I'd probably bought some little girl Porsche. But it was like, help me, I got a test tonight. How much you got? What do you want?
Here's that stuff of money that NASA gave me.
Yeah, I was tutored through my. I was 35, 36 years old. I've been in school in years. But hey, it was worth a trip up there.
It's cool.
Wow.
Story.
That's
SLS test boosters.
I'm gonna have to steal some of your footage. Yeah,
Fine. I know. I've just been like, yeah. I've been here before, so I'm not as like, oh yeah. But it's freaking amazing. But no, I'll send you. Do you want like photos?
yeah. Just trying to listen because I don't know anything about it.
No, I don't.
Good eye. Good eye. All right, we got some SLS boosters in here.
Billions. And take pictures of it.
okay. Yeah, these are mock-ups. Like I told you, everything's mocked up first. They're mocking these things up. They're doing these boosters are basically the same boosters we had when we were doing shuttle stuff.
Wow.
They've been the same company and everything, same diameter. They changed things around a little more improvement and everything. So we don't go over there and get too much of noise in the back. But if you look over here in this high bay over here, that's where the new SLS is going to be stacked right there.
Oh, wow,
That,
okay.
that launch tower we sent out to Pad D will come back in here, and they'll start integrating it back into the building. It was in here for a while, and then it went out to the pad for integration. Now that'll come back for its final integration, and then that's when they'll start bringing flight hardware in for stack up. So.
I'm sorry, Greg, this is flight hardware booster?
No, this is mock-up. This is the mock-up.
Mock-up.
Yeah. There's no flight hardware in this building right now. Probably if it was flight hardware, if that was flight hardware in this building, it would be because it would be loaded fuel. That uses solid fuel. That's solid fuel inside that booster. It looks like the pink eraser on the end of a pencil, and it's got a big donut in here. And when it comes in from Utah, you got to crawl in that thing and do what's called a grain inspection. You've got a flashlight and a magnifying glass, literally a big magnifying glass, and you've got a velostat. You're grounded. You got a ground strap tied to your wrist and everything. So then, because if it sparks,
You're gone.
It lights up. But that stuff will give you a migraine headache. That was probably the worst job out here, was doing that grain inspection. New guy, huh? Yeah. All the engineering, that was NASA was the first one in there. They go look at it and see what it was going. Make sure there's no. What it is, make sure there's no cracks in it, because that crack would cause it to burn that way, and it would get hotter in that one area. So if you had a crack in there, you had to get the guys from Utah to come down, and they would trim that to make it smooth. It had to be perfectly smooth. Because when that thing lights, it lights from the top to bottom. It doesn't burn down; it burns all the way through. Wow. So there's what they call a sparkler that shoots a flame. When it lights, it shoots a flame from the top dome all the way to the bottom. In fact, it blows the what they call a plug, which is a piece of styrofoam at the bottom to keep dirt and stuff getting in. It blows it out the bottom of it, and it's just like a big blowtorch, and it burns top to bottom. The dome is real high pressure dome. All right.
My whole life, I've always seen this jobs of these guys, and I've always wondered what was in it. Now I know what's in it, and I know who works in it.
No, I'm asking so I can tell my kids. Well, they're going to ask what they're going to ask.
But everybody thinks everybody works out here as engineers. No, they're not. They're technicians. If you go to a school for technical work, like you're a welder or somebody like that, or a machinist, that's these jobs here. The engineers don't usually touch the flight hardware. The technicians, the guys, the blue collar workers, are the ones that put this thing together. When you put all the engineers together, you might have a couple thousand engineers out of 22,000 people out here. The rest of them are technicians out here. A&P mechanics, like A&P mechanics, they got a good handle on aviation type stuff. This is basically a big hybrid aircraft. So that was where
I've never been so impressed.
read that book on Mike Rowe here. I mean, the country is gone. Everybody has to be an engineer. Well, you can't, because who's going to build the cars? Who's going to build the houses? Who's going to grow your food and everything? I mean, it's nice. I mean, I just fell into a dumb fool. I was a farm kid. I joined the Army to fly helicopters. That's all I wanted to do was fly. And I wound up playing with rockets the rest of my career. I chased the money in the retirement check. I wound up well. I have fun. My wife and I, we get up. I get to hang out with the cool people. When I'm not hanging with cool people, I'm hanging out with my cool wife. We get up in the morning and go, we're going that way. We go.
That's awesome.
Trust me, I met my wife out here. I've been single for most of my life, so wound up with a very nice young lady. We enjoy life. There's facilities there. Gentlemen.
Oh, good.
Raise yours.
God. Thank God.
All right, we're leaving the VAB, but this is just history. This is where it all started. This is where Saturn V was built, Apollo, Space Shuttle, and soon SLS. Speechless. Someone that likes to talk a lot, and I am speechless.